What I'd like you to tell us, Dale, is your methods from the beginning of the year, just before we pair the pigeons up.
Right, well firstly obviously the stock pigeons are first to be paired up. They're actually paired up at the moment. They were paired up on the 11th of December.
11th of December?
Yes, which is probably 2 weeks earlier than normal. I usually pair up Boxing Day. But the weather's been pretty mild, so everything was ready and they were looking good, so we've paired up. The first of them were laying last night, 8 days. The old pigeons, David, will get paired up the third week in February.
Third week in February?
Yes, probably the 21st.
21st of February, something like that.
Yes.
Will you have done any preparation for these race birds and also the stock birds? Will they be prepared with any medication, anything like that?
Yes, both stock pigeons and the race team are both treated for coccidiosis, canker and worms as a precautionary measure. I've always done that, and obviously I like just sticking to what's working well.
You've done this for a number of years now.
That's right, and during the racing season, probably a month before the national races, I'll send the race team droppings away to get analysed just to make sure everything's okay.
Again? Yeah.
And they always are. I've never had any problems.
No. Well, I won't imagine that you have many problems at all, because the floor of this loft is so dry.
That's right.
There's a tremendous amount of sunlight can come in to it, and that should eliminate the majority of ailments and diseases, shouldn't it?
Yes, that's correct.
You know, so you'll treat for these problems that could be there.
That's right.
You try to prevent anything happening, don't you? Will you give any vitamins at any time during this period?
Yep, they get 3 days multivitamins after each course of medication.
After each course
That's
of medication?
Right. If I treat for, say, coccidiosis, which is a week's treatment, they'll get 3 days on multivitamins and then probably a 2-week rest before they would get treated for canker. Then their 3-day multivitamins again, and then they'll get their wormer.
So they're being treated, so they're going to have a period of time before they're actually paired up, aren't they?
That's right.
So they've settled back down and they've built up a little bit of resistance, etc.
That's right.
They've got back on their feet, so they're feeling well again.
That's right. The race team will be treated in January. Yeah. That'll be the aim. They'll have probably 3 weeks with clear water before they get paired up.
Before they get paired up. So there's no problem tag laying. There shouldn't be no problems whatsoever, should there?
That's right, and I always inject my pigeons against paramyxovirus around about November time.
November, that's done end up more or less.
That's right, that's right. And I like to jag my youngsters probably around about the beginning of June. I like them to be injected quite a bit before the racing actually starts. I think quite a lot of problems with this paramyxa, you know, when you get these watery drop-ins, etc. I feel a lot of people are maybe leaving it too late when they do inject the pigeons.
Too late.
You know, they maybe do them a week, 2 weeks before the racing, and then they're into the race basket. But anyway, that's just one of my opinions. I've never ever had any problems with watery drop-ins, etc.
No. So possibly you've eliminated the stress as well, haven't you?
I think that's the main point.
You
yes,
know,
I do.
the stress has been eliminated with the vaccination, etc. When you pair these pigeons up, do you pick certain cocks and hens out for these? Okay,
if I'm pairing up a race team, I'll put winners to winners. And when I mean winners, we're talking about 500 mile to 600 mile winners. You know, if a cock and a hen will win out of wrens last season, they'll get paired up that way this season, winner to winner.
Obviously, every pigeon can't have been a winner, can it?
That's
true.
But
it'll have had other good positions as well, won't
that's right.
To get that, so they are the real goods.
I'll pair up my winners to winners, and then I'll open up the doors and let the rest of the team pick their own mates. Because once again, that is nature. That's natural.
That's right. And you think that's one of the...
I think that helps as well, of course.
Goes a long way. When you do that, this floor is nothing, no deep litter, no nothing. Will you put a bit of straw on the floor? Or?
Yes, I put straw on the floor in a corner for them to build their nest.
To build the nest?
They build their own nest. I don't have any
so they don't
nest pans. Yes, that's right.
You don't have nest pans?
I don't use nest pans. I used to, but I stopped using them. I just let them build their own nest where they want to in the box.
So that's very interesting.
And if they want to nest on the floor, I'll just put a couple of bricks on the floor, you know, in the corner
Make a
where they
corner
want
for
to,
them.
and they'll build their nest there.
Stop the eggs rolling out
That's
indoors,
right,
isn't it?
that's
That's what
right.
it's all about. What type of feed will you be giving the pigeons? Just prior to pairing up, will you put them onto a good mixture, strong mixture or anything like that?
Well, basically they're on the same base mixture all the year round, which is Swainson's Economy Mix.
It never varies
No, well, it does vary different times of the year in the race team.
in the race.
At the moment, they're on 100% Swainson's Economy Mix,
Sweetens economy mix.
which is basically your beans, maple peas, maize, wheat, Bertie peas, a bit of dairy, one or two other wee bits of seed. Now they're on that just now, the race team, and they'll be on that until they start feeding youngsters, when I'll start to add pellets and extra maple peas into that.
And what type of pellets are these what you use?
Well, I've tried different kinds. I've tried, is it the P40s, is it you call it?
No, something like that.
Yeah, that's right. And there was a new pellet out this season, which was made in Ireland, which was a small round pellet.
Yes.
The only problem there was 3/4 through the racing season, I couldn't get a hold of them again, which I found to be a bit of a nuisance. So probably this year I'll stick to a product that I know is going to be available all the season round. So I don't like changing once I've started, so that was a bit disappointing.
Quite. Will you use any barley or anything like that through the year?
Barley's a grain that I've never really used with the pigeons, to be quite honest, not.
Right. We've got the birds paired up. We've got youngsters on. You'll have changed the corn for the youngsters. As soon as the youngsters start to arrive, you'll have altered the corn a little bit, won't you?
The youngsters eat exactly the same as old birds, because they all run together.
Yes, but what I mean is that you won't be on the economy then, will you?
Well, when the youngsters are on the go, they'll be eating the economy mix with the pellets and extra maple
With the
peat.
pellets?
Yeah, that's right,
Right.
And obviously when we get out a bit further in the race programme, maybe a month before the national races start, I'll introduce peanuts, and I'll gradually increase them the closer we get to the big events, because to me peanuts is one of the main feeds that we can give our pigeons.
There is today.
Yeah.
A lot of protein in it, isn't there?
Energy as well, it
Protein
fuels
there
them.
is, isn't it?
Yep.
So, when we're breeding, the youngsters, how long will they stop with the old birds?
How long does the youngster stop with old birds?
With the old birds?
I'll leave them for probably 3.5, 4 weeks. You know, when they get to the stage where they're wanting to start to come out the nest boxes, I'll take them out the nest boxes, and I've got an end through the back there where I put them to start them off, give them a bit of peace to start to drink, pick, and then I'll just open up the door, and from there on they'll mix through the loft with the old birds, and they'll obviously claim a perch wherever they want to in the loft. And they're left that way throughout the season. They're never separated from the old birds.
So
I find the great advantage with the young birds being left with the old birds is that when they're out flying, the old birds are obviously learning them, the countryside, etc.
surrounding area.
Yeah, that's right. I find they're a lot happier.
And they'll never check at all, these youngsters.
No, they shouldn't, no.
They're in the same loft
That's right.
where they've been born, and they're going to stop there
That's
for the
right.
rest of their life. That if they are winners, isn't it?
That's right.
That's if they're winners.
Uh-huh.
And how many rounds of youngsters will you take off the races? Will they just have one to start with,
Well,
and then go on to eggs or what?
That's right. Most of them all rear a round of youngsters, and after that they'll sit their eggs or pot eggs until the big events come around, where some of them will go sitting eggs, obviously some will go chipping eggs, some will go in small youngsters.
Like that.
Yeah, but they only rear one round of youngsters.
You'll only
up to that
raise
point.
to small youngsters, or do you raise to a big youngster or anything like that?
Well, going back a few years ago, it was always chipping eggs I used to send them on, but lately I've been trying them on 4-day-old youngsters, and it's been working well.
Been working
Yeah,
well.
it has that.
Right.
There used to be a wee bit concerned with sending your hens away if they were on soft meat, that their crops would go sour and whatnot, and I never really tried it, but lately, if you notice, a lot of national winners were sent that way on small youngsters, so I thought if they can do it, there's no reason why I can't do it, and I've tried it and it's worked.